All right. Hi, everyone. Janet Harley here with Faith in an Ever-Changing World, Encouragement and Hope. We're taking a look at different faith topics to encourage our faith focus. And today I am proud to introduce you to my cousin, Nathan Whisnant. Nathan served as a pastor for 35 years, but now serves as Associational Mission Strategist at the Davies Mclean Baptist Association in Kentucky. And he's going to share the faith topic, Faith That Conquers Fear. Hi, Nathan.
Hi,
And
Janet.
thank you for joining me today.
You're
And
welcome.
so I just, if you will, go ahead and let's discuss your topic here, Faith That Conquers Fear.
Okay. I'd like to begin with the verse of scripture, if I may, from
Yes.
2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7.
Okay.
It says, "For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind."
Mhm.
And I've kept that verse in my heart and in my mind, especially since mid-March. Some of you may know that there's something called a pandemic that's been going around, a coronavirus, at least here in Kentucky. I understand it's other places as well,
Yes.
maybe across the entire world.
Mm.
And things radically changed during that time. And a lot of people were struck with fear.
Mm.
In fact, I had one man that came into my office. He's not a part of our association. He just came in off the street, and he said, I'm quite fearful about what is happening and what will happen. What advice can you give me?" And the only thing I could say is to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I
Yes.
said that is the only way that you can have uh, any sense of not having a fear during this time.
Mhm.
And he did not want to accept that. And he said, "Is there another answer?" And I said, "Quite frankly, no. If you want to go through this without having fear, Jesus Christ is the only way."
Right.
So he left, went out the door, was not satisfied with that, and I've never seen him again.
Mm.
So I'd like to encourage you, if you are trying to face this ever-changing world without a personal relationship with Jesus, you will be filled with fear.
Mm.
But God has given us something else. I love what he says here in this verse. He has not given us the spirit of fear, but instead three other things. The first is the spirit of power. We know that we can have power over the fear because of the living, loving relationship we have with Jesus Christ. Because of that hope that we have in our heart, we can face anything. It doesn't matter what it is. So we do have that power.
Mhm.
It also says that we have a spirit of love. And something that I've seen more than anything else is love put into action during this time.
Mm.
As Janet said, I serve as an associational mission strategist for the Davies Mclean Baptist Association. I serve 55 churches and their pastors and staff, and I've had the joy of connecting with them and helping them. Part of my training that I took 2 years ago in early January, they said instead of being in the office, the best thing to do is to visit with pastors, be in their offices, talk with them, spend time with them. And so I was in the process of doing that until mid-March, and then I couldn't do that anymore. It's like, my goodness, I'm supposed to be out there talking to people, and everything is closed down. And so I heard another associational mission strategist say that what he started doing was prayer walking around the churches. Even though he could not visit in the churches or the people in the churches, he could still prayer walk around the church, and he let the pastors know. And so that resonated with my spirit. And so I began doing that. Mid-March, all of April, all of May, I drove to the campus of all of our 55 churches, walked around the church, and I prayed for the pastor and for the people inside the church. And one of the things I prayed for was that spirit of love,
Yeah.
that once they began to open, that they would show the love of Christ as people began to come back into their church. And I prayed that everyone who came through those doors would experience the love of Christ because of the actions, the words, and the attitudes of the people, and that everyone who left those doors would have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ.
Mm.
Because that truly is the only way that we can handle this ever-changing world
Yeah.
is with that faith. So
Absolutely.
power, love, and of a sound mind. Now, I have never been accused of a sound mind, especially from my siblings. Um, Mitchell is the worst. In fact, I remember many years ago, Mitchell is also in the ministry. He's retired now, bless his heart. So, but he served as a minister of education for many years. And he said, Nathan, do you know how that came about? And I said, no, I have no idea. He said, well, God was in the process of aligning out all the spiritual giftedness and all those who would serve him. And he said, the very best, the cream of the crop got to be ministers of education. So that's me. And he said, now all the rest of you riffraff, you get to be pastors. And he said, so that's where you come in. So I'm glad that you're part of the riffraff, Nathan. So anyway, I was honored to be part of the riffraff for 35 years as a pastor. And now I serve those of which I used to be. So I've never been accused of a sound mind. However, we can have a sound mind in these changing times, uncertain times. We don't have to lose our mind because we can have the mind of Christ.
Right.
We just depend upon him and trust him and just know that he is going to get us through everything. And then the classic verse of faith is from Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Right. Substance and evidence. Substance is something that you can handle, that you can get a hold on, that you can grasp. And evidence is things that proves a point. And so our faith is not in something that is just out there in the air or some nebulous teaching or being. It is in a living, loving God who has sent to us his son, Jesus Christ. And if we have a relationship with him, we can indeed have a faith that conquers fear. Mm. One of the things my wife and I have done, and I'm going to put in a shameless plug, is we've written a book called Imagine Not As Much. It is a Christ-centered weight loss strategy that helps people lose weight and also get closer to Christ.
Awesome.
And we did this with Ambassador International. They were our publisher, and they suggested a date of March 20th, beginning of spring. People will be ready to start losing weight. They made New Year's resolutions in January, have not kept them. Mm-hmm. So they said March 20th would be a great date. So for a year and a half, we looked forward to March 20th. And then March 15th happened. And it's like our intent was to go on weekends, have book signings, promote the book, and help people lose weight and get closer to Christ. And all of that crashed. And so we were a little bit concerned, but never fearful. And what Tammy and I talked about and what we realized is that this was no surprise to God. It was a surprise to us and everyone else involved, but not a surprise to God. So he has a plan behind this. And so it has not gone how we expected, but it has gone exactly how God has expected. And so we had to change gears, but we did not lose heart or did not lose faith that God was still in this. And so we're still helping people. Right now we're teaching it in one of the churches in our association. We've taught it in the association I served as pastor, and we've taught it in Henderson, Kentucky, and Indiana, and even Mitchell. He even taught it at his church when he was part of Kingsport, Tennessee. So bless his heart, he even lost some weight and got closer to Christ. He really needed to do both. So I'm glad that he was able to take advantage of that and do that. But in my role as Associational Mission Strategist, I've been able to notice some things, and I wanted to bring up some of those things about faith conquering fear in serving these pastors. Everything that they're facing right now, they did not learn in seminary or in college. Right. There was not a class entitled How to Get Through a Pandemic. It just did not exist. However, each one of them have found ways to be creative. They have not lost heart. A couple of them were discouraged, but I've seen that discouragement turn to encouragement as they have seen God work and they have found ways to do ministry. Some started Zoom worship or online worship, Facebook worship, other types of online worship. And I had one pastor say he had been trying to lead his church to have an online presence for the last 4 or 5 years. and everybody was resistant to it, but now they're online and everybody is behind it. So that has jump-started the online ministry of many of our pastors and many of our churches. And what they've discovered, they have more people tuning in to their online service than they had in in-person services. And so they're excited about the opportunity. I've heard of several salvations, people accepting Christ online. They've been able to follow up some with cards and with phone calls. And when they feel comfortable enough, they're going to attend church and get baptized and become a part of that church family. So that's just one thing that I've seen. Our pastors have adapted to that. They've also adapted to doing things differently. Several pastors have told me that what they are doing with their shut-ins, they cannot see them, or at least for several months they could not see them. So they would drive by. They would call them first, say, hey, I'm coming by. They would either stay in their car, wave at them, call them on the phone so they could see them and talk to them at the same time. Say, I'm here. I want to let you know that I care about you and anything I can do for you. And then whatever they needed, they had members in their church to take care of it. They needed groceries. They'd have somebody go pick up groceries, take it to their door and drop it off. They needed medicine. They'd pick that up for them. If they needed whatever they needed, they found a way to serve their shut-ins. They could not visit them in person like they'd been used to, but they found a way to stay connected with them. So they have found a way to conquer the fear through faith. And with the pastors leading, they've helped the people in their congregation conquer the fear with faith as well. Saying this is not going to get us down. This is not going to shut us down. This is not going to stop the work of the church, the work of the ministry. We're only going to do it just a little bit differently. So that's something that I've seen and that I've witnessed. Our staff here at the associational office, we had to do things differently. They closed down the office for about a month or a month and a half, and so I had to work from home. And Tammy said that was the hardest 6 weeks of her entire life because she was already working at home. She said, I'm used to having the whole place to myself. I can concentrate, I can work. And now Nathan came in and he brought his computer and he talks to his pastors and the staff and the folks, and he just made all kinds of noise. So I had to shut my door. But we made it work. We didn't kill each other. We stayed together 24 hours, 7 days a week for 6 or 8 weeks, and we still survived. Our marriage survived. So we can write a whole other book about that. How you can survive a marriage in the pandemic.
That's right. Now you all can write another book.
Yes, we can. We've written another one called Imagine More. It's to help couples get closer to each other and to God, based upon the Song of Solomon and our work together. We don't have that one published yet, but we do have our, of course, unedited, very rough copy that we use to teach. But yes, we can write another one about the pandemic and how not to kill each other while working from home. So, but it was good. So I've just seen God do some amazing things. And whereas a lot of people have done a tailspin into fear, those who have that personal relationship with Jesus Christ, those who have faith that God will get them through, who believe that God is in this, he's working through this, they are the ones that have conquered the fear. And so anyone who's listening today, I would highly encourage you to have that personal relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
Some have asked, well, why is that the answer? Well, because God says it is. And I believe that what God says is true. But not only that, if you look at everything else that people are promoting to have faith, or people are promoting to have encouragement or peace, there are problems with each one of those. They're chinks in their armor, you might say. But with the relationship with Christ, it has stood solid and strong for over 2,000 years, and it will stay solid and strong until he comes to bring his church home. He's alive and real in my heart, and that has gotten me through these changing times, these uncertain times. And he's alive and well in the heart of the pastors that I serve and in the church members of the churches that I serve, that I come across. And it is wonderful to see faith working.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
if I may, I want to share a more personal example.
Okay.
This has nothing to do with coronavirus, but this has everything to do with faith conquering fear. Tammy's sister, her name is Julie Hester, and she's my age, so she's young. She's 60. She turned 60 just a couple months before I did. And this is her fifth battle with cancer. Um, this time, she has metastatic breast cancer that's gone into her bones. She has inflammatory breast cancer, and also she has fluid around her lungs that has cancer in it. So she has decided to stop chemotherapy, and she is okay with that. The rest of the family, we are dealing with that. We are adjusting to that reality, adjusting to that truth. But every step along the way, we have seen her faith. She is the one that has encouraged the rest of the family. Her first battle, second, third, fourth, every one of those battles, she fought hard, fought long and strong, and was involved with the Race for the Cure in Evansville, Indiana, which is a big thing around here. Was one of the leaders in raising money for Race for the Cure. But now she's decided that she wants to concentrate more on quality of life than on quantity of life. And her faith is strong. Her spirit is sweet. She knows what is awaiting her, and she knows that is to be home with Jesus.
Yes. Oh.
And I want to share something else along with that. Her family, my wife's family, approaches everything with humor. That's just how they deal with things. And so Julie is single. She's never married. And she said, you know what? I think what I might do is just go out, find me a feller that don't look too well, just kiss him all over. Just get this coronavirus thing and be done with it. So her sisters, my wife and her two other sisters said, well, we'll start looking for folks that don't look too good. Start looking for men that look poorly and introduce you to them so you can do that. And they just laughed about that, just had a great time about that. She truly has a faith that conquers fear, and she's one of the people that I admire. And I just want to say thank you, Julie, for your inspiration on what it means to have faith that conquers fear.
Yeah.
So Janet, that's what I have to share today. It may not be as long as you wanted it. But,
yes, this has been wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nathan.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know that all of us, our churches and everyone has had to be more creative during this pandemic time. But thank you for sharing those thoughts and thank you for encouraging us today.
Welcome.
In our faith focus.
All right.
Thank you all for watching, and have faith and look up, friends, where our help comes from. God bless. Bye.